Hello, everyone. I am so excited to see so many friends watching us already. I am just getting everything set up. I'm so thrilled, so just elated. I don't even know what better word to use with how this knit along has gone, and I have loved seeing all of your creativity throughout this knit along, and I just can't wait to take a minute and just celebrate all of your hard work. We've had people knitting their first shawls and their first sweaters, and it has just been such a fantastic experience on my side of the monitor, my side of the needles, because I get to see your creativity shine and I get to help you along with maybe some techniques or stitches that you weren't familiar with before. So without too much more intro, I'm gonna say hi in the comments. I see we have some friends saying hi. So because this is on Facebook and on YouTube, so I can see your comments on my screen, but I can't see you. So feel free to have lunch or breakfast or whatever it is, wherever you are. And happy to see so many friends joining us. I just can't wait to celebrate you all. I did my best to include everyone in the slideshow, and I hope that I got everyone, but I don't know. So no hard feelings if I missed your shawl, and I will continue to celebrate your photos and your progress and all of that. So before I get into much, just want to say hi in the comments. So we have Bonita's here from Kansas, and Pam from Missouri, and Francine, I know you're in Canada, you too, Anita. And Neith is here from Massachusetts, and Joanne from New Brunswick, and Jackie also in Massachusetts, and Jennifer in Alberta, and Fiona joining us all the way from the Bahamas, and Redheaded Susan in England, and Christy Gold in Scotland, and Cindy in Ohio, and and friends in South Carolina and Florida and Colorado, and Laura's here from Long Island, not too far from me, and Elaine in North Carolina, and Kathy in Ontario. And yeah, so welcome everyone. I'm going to dive in because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to share with you, and I don't want to take up too much stuff, but I wanted to give you a chance to find the link and get settled in. Jackie said I couldn't find the link for the Zoom. There is no Zoom. We're on YouTube and on Facebook, on my Facebook page. So if you struggle with one stream, the other one should work. Not the Facebook group, but the Facebook page. I'll put that link. That's the link here. That's the Facebook link. And then let me make sure I mute this. And then the streams to YouTube are there, and those links should go to both Facebook and Zoom. So if one gets cut off, then hopefully you can pick up in the other place. I always try to have a backup plan. So let me share my screen. And I'm still here over here. So I just want to take a minute and again celebrate you all, celebrate this time that we have had together. We've been knitting together for, I think it's about 9 weeks now. And last week we were going to wrap things up, and I found that a lot of people were still working on those last bits and pieces, and I wanted to give more of you a chance to finish, to make it a little bit more relaxed. I know an extra week was not a heck of a lot of time for a lot of us, but it gave a few more days, a little more calm, a little more peace. So and Neith says, thank you for YouTube. I have it up on the TV in the living room with the chat screen on the laptop. Wonderful. I'm glad that this setup works. We've been gathering together on Zoom, and I've been answering questions and all of that stuff. So if you signed up for the knit along, you'll have ongoing access to all of those lessons in my classroom. And I have some things I want to share with you while we are here together. So let me get to the right window. Anyone else have a million tabs open on their browser at all times? There it is. How to move one browser to find the other. All right, so before we dive into everything, I just want to take a minute and introduce myself for those of you who is new to me, new to Double the Stitches. Just a quick moment. So my name is Jessica A's. I'm the knitwear designer and the instructor behind Double the Stitches, the owner and the host of the Stitch Society membership, and the host of the Knit Happy Summit. Now, those last two are going to be important to note as we continue because I have some fun news to share with you all. And so my mission has always been, since I started this, to make the timeless craft of knitting accessible and attainable for knitters of all different skill levels. And that's the heart behind this Coterie Collection Knit Along. I'm so thrilled that there were many of you who dove in who had never knit a sweater or never knit a shawl or never knit lace. And you took this challenge and you said, you know what, I can do this. I've got support with Jessica. There's a whole classroom of video lessons. You can still sign up for it. There's no additional cost to access those lessons. The only cost for participating in this was the pattern. And for anyone who's part of my Stitch Society membership, you're able to use your code that I give you each month for a free pattern. So it was no additional cost for you. And those lessons will live there for as long as I am doing this. And I am having way too much fun. So I have no plans on going anywhere. So I was honored to have the opportunity to be your guide, to provide those resources and the support and the community to help you explore these projects with confidence and joy. And I said it before, and I'll say it again, I don't believe in knitting police. I believe in giving you with the resources, the support, and what you need to support you so that you can grow your skills. And yes, I did have to set an end date because it's not a never-ending knit along. I wanted to move on to my next projects. So we are wrapping this up, but if you have not finished your project yet, please continue. Please finish it. Please continue to share in our community. If you need help, reach out. I'm there to help you, as well as our other community members who have advice and guidance and have knit these projects as well. So a little bit about what we will discuss today, what we'll talk about while we are here. Anita says a million tabs, multiple browsers. Absolutely, yes. And so we're gonna have a little bit of a project parade, and so that will include your finished projects, but also some who still have their project on the needles. So there was not any requirement where you must finish in order to be included. And I went through and I've got tons of pictures to share with you. I hope I got everyone. And again, if I missed anyone, I feel terrible about that. We'll share some surprise prize winners. I didn't want to, a little quick side story. So my sons are bowlers. They're, on high school bowling team, and they get very competitive, and they're in a league right now, outside of school, a separate league, and they don't know what their standings are. And so they have enjoyed participating in this league more, sort of for the fun of it. Like there are prizes and trophies and awards and all of that stuff at the end, but they don't know what their standing is. They don't know if they're like almost, in first place or way down at the bottom. And I think that's just been a wonderful thing for them. And so that was what I wanted to bring to this. I didn't want to make this anything where it felt competitive. I wanted it to be very knitter centric and community oriented, and just participating and supporting each other because you're all wonderful people, and not about the prizes. So the prize winners were drawn kind of at random, and I will share those at the end before we go. I have a sneak peek for my next 2 patterns. One of them is going to be releasing on Friday, and the other one will be coming in April. A special invitation, you've heard me talk about the Stitch Society membership, and I have a special offer, a limited time offer, and a special bonus that all members will get, and I want to share that with you. I'm gonna mute Facebook so we don't keep hearing those dingings. And then just a final toast to you all and your creativity. So let's dive in after I quickly check the comments, make sure. Yes, Anita says the recreational track is definitely more fun and equally rewarding. Yes, it doesn't always have to be about winning, right? And Vanessa says, I've had so much fun knitting my first sweater. This was just the push that I needed to just start. Yeah, sometimes we just need to that push, that motivation to just try it, right? And Neith says to you in the group, made it happen. And Kathy says, this has just been just the second sweater I've ever knit, and it's been a relaxing time. And I think I got everyone. Anita says, yes, it's all about the community and the camaraderie. So without further ado, let's start that slideshow. So the Coterie shawl, it's a crescent-shaped shawl. It's knit from the bottom up. The shawl begins with casting on what feels like a billion stitches, but I have tips and tricks and all of that for you, with some lace, some stockinette sections for a little bit of a break, and then some short rows, easy short rows for the decreases on a background of garter stitch. And I loved seeing how creative you all got. Julie shared that she thoroughly enjoyed making this and said, your patterns are so well written. Speaking of people who have taken on this challenge, Francine set a goal for 2026. She was going to knit lace and she was going to knit a shawl, and she knocked it out of the park in March. So I can't wait to see what she's going to achieve next. She said, this is my first shawl. Thanks to Jessica for helping me achieve my 2026 goal with her Coterie Collection KAL. And Judith got creative with her stash and finished her Coterie shawl. So she used a variegated yarn and a solid. And so I love how those together, and the solid lets the lace really shine, and the variegated gives some fun pops of color. And some of these are on blocking board still. Priscilla said knitting was done, and on to the finishing touches of blocking and weaving. And Davina got creative. Sometimes we play what knitters will sometimes call yarn chicken, which is where we are racing to see, will we finish knitting the shawl or will we run out of yarn first? And so Davina was running out of yarn before she got to the bind off, and she decided to use a contrast color for an extra little special touch, a little extra detail. So you can see that maybe along the top edge there. And I thought that was a beautiful way, that contrast, just that touch of it on the edge. I thought that was a beautiful solution. And Anne has knit both the shawl and the sweater. I think the sweater she finished before the knit along, but I have that shared later on. This is shawls first, and then we're going to talk about the sweaters. So I think she might be a little bit further than this at the moment, but this was her current progress, and she was in the third lace repeat. Joanne went for a bright pop of pink, which is a fun way to add something different to your wardrobe. I love doing that myself too. And all right, I was just checking comments. All right, let's keep on sharing those. Since Joanne said it was easy to follow and enjoyable knit, the pattern repeats across the shawl, makes it easy to get into the rhythm of the knit, followed by a relaxing garter stitch to complete the shawl. Yeah, some people find garter stitch relaxing and enjoyable. Some people find it bores them. I don't know if to tears is exactly right, but Anita, speaking of garter stitch, Anita went with some special touches. So she used a gradient yarn, and was that 558 beads, I think was your final count. I don't know if you're able to see them on the screen, but it's on her Ravelry project page. And so there's closer up pictures where you can see them. And instead of garter stitch, she substituted a different stitch with a really fun texture to keep it a little bit interesting. So I love that you really made it your own. You took the pattern and added your own unique and special touches. And so Anita's yarn was already a gradient. It was 2 different balls of yarn. And so that work was it's one opportunity where you can let the yarn do the work for you, right? And then Cindy created a gradient. It was a gradient mini skein set. And so her challenge with this was to figure out where to start and stop the different skeins of yarn. So I love, love, love how it came out. And it was a fun challenge that she took on. And Penny also got creative with yarn. So the kind of the reverse of what our other friend had done. So Penny used a variegated for the lace and like a solid or a tonal for the other parts of the shawl. And this was her first attempt at lace, and that really just, you knocked it out of the park. It is beautiful. Just a couple more shawls that I want to share that with you. And then we'll talk about the sweaters. Whoa, my screen just moved. All right. And Carol also shared her work in progress in this beautiful bright blue. And Neat Knitter 56 had her shawl in the pre-blocked state on the blocking boards, ready for getting soaked and pinned out. So I love seeing the different stages. And for anyone who has ever wondered if blocking lace is important or matters, it really does. So I love sharing all these different states of your different projects, and I try to include as many as I could. I didn't want to be here for 4 hours, but I tried to include everyone. And then the other, we did sort of a choose your own adventure. So knitters were either knitting the shawl or the sweater. The sweater worked up pretty quickly also. It was a worsted weight sweater with lace at the yoke, and it had some different features built into it with a split hem and a little bit longer in the back. And some people made modifications to the hem, to the sleeve lengths, and Laura modified hers. I don't know if you can see it here in the sweater. She added one section of the lace underneath on the sides of the sweater. And then she also prefers like a turtleneck or a cowl neck on her sweaters. So she did a provisional or tubular cast on. I forget which cast on you used, Laura, if you're here. I think you are, to make it nice and stretchy. And then knit the ribbing for the neck, and then picked up with where the pattern starts after the neckline. And because she wants to get as much length as she can out of the sweater, she stopped when she finished probably a ball of yarn. That's what I would do, and I think that's probably what Laura did as well. And then she went ahead to knit the sleeves, and then whatever remainder of the additional yarn she has after she gets the sleeves to the length that she likes, then she'll just continue knitting the body until it gets to a length that she's happy with. But this way, she doesn't have to guess and wonder how much yarn does she need to leave over for the sleeves. So that's a great way to work the different sections of her. Catherine was one of the first to finish the Coterie sweater, and she made it her own by leaving out the garter ridge above the lace. And it looks like it fits her beautifully, and I love that color on you. And Roz also shared her progress. It was finished but not blocked, and also creative use of yarn with a gradient for the lace. And I love how it really pops there. And let me just see. Oh, Laura said it was the tubular cast on for the turtleneck. And Anita said, in the yarn and fiber board on Ravelry, there's a thread for showcasing before and after blocking projects, and lots of amazing transformations there. Yes. And all right. And Deborah says she loves what Laura did with her sweater. All right, let's quick sip of coffee and we'll keep going. Amanda was very excited that she finished her sweater and it was still cold enough to wear a sweater. That is one of the things about starting a knit along like we did after the new year, was hoping to finish it while the weather is still chilly enough that you can enjoy it when you bind off and weave in the ends, rather than folding it up and putting it aside for the next winter. So I'm happy that so many of you were able to get to that point. And Neith celebrated. Her coterie sweater was off the needles and blocked. And she participated in the last Knit Happy Summit, which was in November, and she attended Celine Phaeton's workshop session on bust darts. And Celine, one of the bonuses that Celine had was how to add bust darts to any project. And so it's a calculator and it tells you step by step exactly what to do. So Neith was able to combine what was learned from the Knit Happy Summit into the sweater to make it a perfect fit for her. And also she went with, I think those were elbow length sleeves. So modifications all around. And I love that you were able to put into action something that that you learned at the summit. And I saw Celine commented she was so happy to see that you were able to do that too. And I know that for anyone who might want to do that in the future, I'm pretty sure that it is available for purchase on Celine's website. So the Knit Happy Summit, which I'll talk briefly about later. Sorry, there are options to get bonus gifts from the speakers as part of an upgrade package for the summit, and also some free gifts from the speakers. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's 100% virtual. You can attend from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. Jane says hers was all done and ready to block, and said the pattern was a well-written pleasure to knit. And I talked a little bit about the fit of the sweater and how I decided on the length. So I wanted a tush covering length sweater, and Anne did too. So this was Anne's coterie sweater, blocked and worn several times, and you can see the nice length in the sweater. There are so many sweaters around, and different sweater lengths are right for different styles and body shapes and all of that. But those cropped sweaters, they're not for me. Which doesn't make the cropped sweaters any less valid, because you can customize your own sweater. So you can, start off with a cropped sweater and add length to it. But I wanted to design something where you didn't need to do that. Alice is knitting her first sweater and still has to bind off on the front hem, and then she's off to the sleeves. And Sabine said, I finally finished weaving in the ends, the horrible task of weaving in the ends, and gave the sweater its relaxation bath, and now it is chilling for the weekend on the blocking mat. And I love the color that you used there, Sabine. And Mrs. Yo, or YO, blocked the yoke for a fit check, which was not something that I had originally written into the pattern. And I talked about this during the knit along. I didn't write that into the pattern because the yarn that I was using was a non-superwash yarn. And when I was knitting mine, which I'm almost done with the first sleeve. So I'll share my sweater with you also. For anyone who hasn't cast off yet, you're not alone. You're right alongside with me. So the yarn I was using this time was a superwash yarn, and that tends to grow with blocking. And so I really wanted to make sure that I was happy with the fit. So after I knit the yoke, I posted in our Facebook group and I shared with our knit along attendees that I had decided I was going to block the yoke because I wanted to make sure it was at a length that I was happy with before I went ahead to separate for the body and the sleeves, because it would be much easier to make any adjustments there. I wanted to make sure that my sleeve divide was where I wanted it to be. And let me see. Neith says it's cold enough today, and I thought it was a Zoom call, so I was rushing. Oh, I'm sorry, Neith. Rushing to get dressed. And Joanne says, I loved what Laura did with her sweater, so I chose to do the same. I also have a color change for the bottom of the sweater and the bottom of the short sleeves. And Neith said those bust darts were so easy to add and very hard to see when not out in direct sunlight. And Celine has a free version on her website, but more customizable with the tools that are for sales. Celine Phaeton, the bust darts. Deborah said, when you leave out the stockinette just before the lace, do you alter where you separate for the sleeves also? So the I think it was Catherine's sweater where she left out not the stockinette, but the ridge. I don't know if you can see if I make me but bigger. So she left out this ridge and replaced it just with stockinette. So these are purl rows because you're working in the round. So these were just purl rows. So she just replaced those with knit rows. So it didn't really change anything. And also the way that the separation for the sleeve is written is that after the lace, you're working a number of rows until you reach a measurement. So that measurement doesn't change. So you'll continue to knit until you get to that measurement, regardless of whether you put in that the ridge or not. Vanessa says, I wear dresses a lot and I love wearing crop sweaters with them. I'm making this sweater cropped. I can't wait to see that. Using superwash yarn, would you go down a size since it grows? I would do gauge and wet block your gauge swatch and let that determine your final size. So I wouldn't base it on just going up or down a size. You want to meet gauge after your swatch has been wet blocked. And Fiona says it got too hot, so I will still need to finish the sleeves. And Neith suggested to make the sleeves shorter if you want to wear it, if you want it wearable now and into the early fall. All right, just trying to pop in every so often and check on the comments there. So this was Vanessa. I think that is some car knitting. I did a lot of my sweater knitting in the car, waiting for school to let out, waiting for picking up the kids from various activities. And it's one of my favorite places to knit. It's nice and peaceful. And no one is interrupting me, right? And Lori's Coterie sweater was off the needles. And Jerry also modified the length, made it 4 inches shorter and with bishop sleeves, which means that the sleeves have a little bit more puff at the wrist to them. And Bonnie finished her Coterie sweater, even with her broken wrist, which is quite the feat, and I really hope that your wrist is feeling better. And Edie shared her finished Coterie sweater, and Quilt Knit Lady on Ravelry also shared her in this beautiful bright blue. And Gretchen finished and chose to make her sweater with 3/4 length sleeves. And Anne's sweater was blocked and ready to enjoy. I love that that shade of green. And Fiona shared her progress, so this was not blocked and sleeves were not done yet. And she not sure what she did with the hem, so it looks like seed stitch or moss, and but she's happy with it. So you can just repeat that on the cuffs of the sleeves, whatever length you decide on, and it becomes a design element, right? An AK Garden Patch had shared her coterie sweater, a fit check before dividing for the body, just to make sure she was happy with it. And Nora Nico shared her coterie sweater in progress. And just a couple more. Mandarin 3 shared their progress, and so did Logan and Lizzie. And I love seeing all of these different beautiful. Oh, Quilt Knit Lady is you. Hi, Pam. I'm glad that you are here. And Anita shared most important for the gauge swatch is to take measurements before as well as after washing the swatch so that there's numbers to compare to. Absolutely, yes. You want to know how much your work has grown from unblocked to blocked so you can estimate things better. And Laura has a new puppy and can only knit when the puppy is busy or sleeping. And Anita is loving all of the different customizations. And Fiona says, love all the projects, so beautiful, so many talented women and men. I don't know if we have men who knit this as well. And congratulations to all, and I can't wait to try the shawl. And my other sweater this year is teal. Loving all of these colors. All right, so a quick second for some Q&A if anyone has any quick questions, and then we will continue on because I have more to share with you all. Prize winners, that special invitation that I mentioned to you all. Amy says, I haven't started the sweater yet, but I love seeing all of these for inspiration. I thought about only inviting the friends that joined us for the actual knit along. And then I said, you know what, let's make it so that everyone can join because everyone could use a little bit of community and some time to chat and spend some time together. So yes, men too. Everyone is always included. And Pam says, I found that a sweater is not so scary as I first thought it would be. Hooray for that. And Louis says, yes, inspiration. That's what it's all about, right? Seeing what other people are creating. And you might just be inspired to cast on your own. All right, friends. So the other things that I want to share with you. So we're going to talk a little bit about my Stitch Society membership, and then I will talk also about the bonus that anyone who joins will get. The bonus also applies to anyone who is already a member. So this is not like the cell phone company that only gives bonuses to the good stuff to their new subscribers, where you have to, leave and come back, or the cable company or what have you. So the bonus applies to everyone who's a new or a current member, and there is a limited time price an offer as well for anyone who is first joining. So the Stitch Society membership, we are celebrating, we are almost at, we are in year 5, and it has been, we celebrated our 4-year anniversary in December, 4 years from when I first started the membership. And in the membership world, that is a pretty long time. There are some that, go on for forever, for many, many years, but a lot of memberships kind of start up as an idea and then don't continue. So I am really proud of what I have built and created. And it is something that I built because it was something that I felt that I was kind of missing in my own life. So it started in those COVID times where, there weren't really like in-person yarn groups. Stores were kind of limited to the ability to have groups, yarn shops, and all of that. And I had been working in my local yarn store at the time, and then I was home. And I was really missing that ability to connect with fellow members, to support fellow knitters, and to share what I know, what I've learned about knitting, and to learn from our members as well. So I built this private membership and invited the people who joined me for my first workshop to join me. And that was when I founded the membership. So that was December 2021, I think. And it was something that I felt like a connection that I didn't have in my life. I share this comic often. It is from the Pickles comic strip, and it is a comic that kind of details the lives of Earl and Opal Pickle. They are a retired couple in their 70s, but I think it applies no matter your age, and whether it's a spouse or a friend who kind of pretends to be interested in what you're doing, but they're not really listening. They're not really genuinely, they're genuinely proud of you. Let's say that. Maybe they're genuinely proud of you, but they don't truly understand the accomplishment or the achievement of, say, knitting your first lace shawl, or knitting your first sweater, or conquering brioche for the first time, or learning to knit cables, or any project, any technique that you have felt concerned about trying, worried, nervous, apprehensive about. And so Earl is leaning over the couch. Opal is sitting there and she's knitting. And Earl says, "What are you knitting?" And Opal answers, she said, "A scarf." And Earl says, "Oh, how do you do that without even looking?" And Opal says, "Are you really interested in how I do it?" And he says, "No, but I'm pretending I'm interested. Isn't that worth something?" So how many of you have someone like that in your life who does, try their best to support you and ask about, what you're working on, but they don't really get it? And so I wanted to build a membership where we could learn together, where we could support each other, where we could answer each other's questions. There's so many years of knowledge among knitters and experiences, and so I always will give my thoughts, my input, my point of view when a member has a question about something. But I also always welcome the other voices in the room, because many of you have been knitting more years than I've been alive, or have had just varied and different experiences. So I understand the frustration of spending hours searching for help and asking questions online in some of those gigantic groups, and sometimes actually being criticized for asking a question. Sometimes getting really bad advice from knitters who maybe don't fully understand what you're asking, or were just taught something differently. And I know the feeling of being disconnected from a community, and wishing and dreaming and hoping to find like-minded individuals, knitters, crafters, just like you and me, who create because we couldn't imagine not creating because we're driven to it, because we're inspired by it, needing that outlet, creating because it keeps our hands busy, keeps our minds calm and peaceful, keeps us out of trouble. And let's face it, some days it's the only thing that keeps us sane. And so that's why I wanted to build this solution, something that combines education, community, connection, and camaraderie all in one place. And so when I had come across this comic strip, it reminded me of exactly why I created the membership. And let me just check on you all in the chat there, and see if there were any questions. All right, so there are some knitting questions. I'll come back to those as well after this. So part of what's included in the workshop, and doesn't show all of them, but there are 11 on-demand workshops. Everything from lace to cables and fixing your mistakes. With the Beginner's Guide to Lace Knitting workshop, you will discover basic stitches used to create lace knitting, understand lace knitting chart symbols, learn how to decode a knitting chart so you don't always have to work from pages and pages of instructions or know a secret language. You'll learn how to read your stitches so you can easily find where you are in a pattern, even when there are distractions. We talk about lifelines and why you need them and how they will save you so much stress. We did that a little bit with the Coterie Knit Along as well. How to block your knitting and why you should, and I will show you the difference. And I lost my screen. Goodness. Can I get it back? All right, I have to reshare that. Oh my goodness. Hang tight for 1 second. And I will fix that. Clicked a button. Don't click a button, friends. Buttons are dangerous. All right, let me get back over to that screen. Sorry about that. And we'll be up and running. There we are, right where we left off. Okay. So learning to read lace charts and all of those things. Where was I? Lifelines, and also what do those gray no stitch boxes mean on a chart? If you've ever been stumped by those, I explain everything so it finally makes sense. That's one of the most commonly asked questions I see in the different Facebook groups. And if you wanted to learn to knit cables, learn the secret to reversible cables, how to fix cable knitting mistakes, and read cable knitting charts, I've got you covered with my Conquer Cable Knitting workshop. You'll also get access to my Oops workshop to fix the most common mistakes that we all make, including knitting and fixing errors in patterning. If you made a knit, but it should have been a purl, or vice versa. If you've dropped a stitch, if you have a missing yarn over, an accidental yarn over, if you missed a decrease, and it will save you hours and hours of time that you might have spent undoing your work. It is the single biggest thing that has made a difference and empowered me in my own knitting. And so it's one of my favorite things to teach. You'll also get access to my A Taste of Brioche workshop, the on-demand workshop that teaches you, it includes 3 different patterns. So you'll start with an ear warmer, then you'll move on to knitting a cowl, and then there is a hat. So you'll learn everything from the basic brioche stitches to introductions to some decreases and increases in brioche, which is what gives it its beautiful lines. We talk about picking colors and fixing brioche mistakes and how to read your stitches, how to use lifelines in brioche, reading brioche charts. And we also dive into brioche a little bit more, learning the brioche stitch flat in 2 colors and also in 1 color. Some variations like fisherman's rib and all kinds of stuff like that. There's actually 2 workshops for knitting socks, from the cuff down and from the toe up. So we knit a little tiny mini stocking, which is the perfect size to hold a gift card or be an ornament on a tree or decorate a gift box. And these are not just knit a tiny stocking. These are learn to knit socks with worsted weight yarn and US 6 needles. And these are created using real sock knitting techniques. So it's not like just a quick, how can we make it look like a stocking, but it's the actual techniques that I use in my sock knitting patterns. And that sets you up for success. And if you've been around for a while, you'll know that I love teaching you with a small project like an ear warmer, like a tiny mini stocking, like a coaster. So you'll also get to try your hand at double knitting with my Double Dare knitting workshop. It was something that I ran as a challenge, and you get access to all of that. So double knitting is reversible knitting. It is the reverse side of this has a gold zigzag on a white background. I don't have that picture here for you. So all of that is included and more. And so to talk about how much is membership. So the current price of membership is $34 per month. There are also options for paying for 6 months, or the best price, the best value is to pay for a month in advance. Then you don't have to deal with monthly payments, and you also get 2 months free when you join for a year. So you get 12 months of access, but you only pay for 10 months. And it works out to be less than $1 a day when you join for the year. But I have a special offer to our friends that are watching this. You can use the code HALFOFF, HALFOFF, to get your first month for just $17 instead of $34. And that code will actually apply, I believe, I will double check when we get off of here, to so you'll save that $17 whether you want to go with monthly, 6 months, or the annual. The code applies to any of those payments. This is not a membership where you get more content when you join for a year. The different payment options are my way of trying to make it accessible and attainable, no matter whether monthly works better for you, or just paying once a year, or something in between. Just looking to see if there are any questions about that. And I'm just looking to see. Laura said the Double Dare workshop was terrific, and that's why I joined. And Anita says Jessica is a knitwear designer, only knits. Hortense knitting with chopsticks is by Crafting has crochet things as well as knit. Yes, I do have 3 crochet patterns. I was a crocheter before I was a knitter, and I decided that I was enjoying the process of writing and teaching knitting more than I was enjoying writing and teaching. Let's see if this will work. Someone was asking about the code. Let me just see if I can copy that to paste. I don't know if the code is case sensitive. I'm going to check it right now. It automatically makes it caps on my screen. So you can visit the full link has all of the details about the membership, doublethestitches.com/stitch society. This link that I'm going to paste in the chat for you all just brings you to the checkout part, but it will automatically apply the code. So you'll get that discount on, let me make sure, it should be, there it is. I'm just double checking. Yes, so that code will apply to any of the pricing options. And Fiona says, Jessica's a great teacher. I love her workshops. Thank you so much for that. And Amy says, I love my membership. I joined during the last Knit Happy Summit. I'm an intermediate knitter that loves a guided challenge, and Jessica's teaching style is perfect for me. I've gained a lot of confidence. And I love, Amy, you have such a wonderful outlook. Amy posted a checklist of the projects that she was working on in the Facebook group. I think that was yesterday. And just sort of a reminder to herself and to everyone else that it's not a race, and you have to go at your own pace, and that's what makes knitting enjoyable and comfortable and all of that. And let me just, Pam says, I loved the double knitting challenge. Fiona says, that is how I learned to knit socks. And Deborah says, I've done the earwarmer. I'm working on the cowl now. That is wonderful. Yes, so it was Louise that had asked. So I don't have crochet workshops. I do have 3 crochet patterns. I am happy to answer questions about crochet, within the membership. But if you are looking for a membership that focuses on crochet, I do know that Hortense from Knitting with Chopsticks has that. And Nita's, her Stitch Society library is quite extensive, and she'll make new videos to help with anything folks struggle on. Plus, there are all kinds of workshops like Brioche one in the membership perks. So no matter your level or needs, there's something great to watch or do. And you also get access to any workshops that I teach. The other bonus I wanted to make sure that I mentioned to you all is that by joining now, besides the half off code, which is for people that are joining the membership now, I am also offering a free extended access pass to all who are active members when my Knit Happy Summit workshop comes back this May. May 14th to the 17th is when it's going to be live. So in May, you'll get a code that you can use to get extended access to the whole summit. So the way the summit works is it is a 4-day virtual workshop. So like I said before, you can join us from anywhere, and you get 48 hours to watch. There'll be a different group of presentations that are shared each day of the summit, the Knit Happy Summit. And so Thursday's presentations will expire on Saturday morning, doing that math. So you got 2 full days to watch, and then they'll go away. But with the extended access pass, you'll get ongoing access to watch any of the presentations. There's also live speaker panels. You'll get access to those as well. And there will be also an upgrade option for some extra bonuses from myself and from the speakers. And you'll be able to use that code for the extended access pass to get the all the bonuses for a really wonderful discounted rate. So yeah, I'm excited that that is happening. I am deep in the planning of it. So all current and new members who have an active membership, meaning that it's not canceled or paused in May, will get that extended access pass from the summit and the option to upgrade. And joining now before, I have the date here. Nope, I've got it on the other slide. Before the end of this month. Is it there? No. I don't know where I put the date. So the half off code will expire on March 31st at midnight Eastern time. The membership is open, so you can join after that point, but that half off code to save $17 on monthly, 6-month, or annual membership will expire then. So the last thing I want to do before we say goodbye is I want to announce our prize winners. I will put that link in the chat one more time for anyone that is looking at it. And then I'll go through the questions after I announce the prize winners. Cindy says, as a Knit Society member, Jessica helped me immensely with creating a video tutorial for a specific problem I was having with a pattern from another designer. Yeah, so I do also offer you priority pattern support. As soon as I can get to it, if sometimes it's an answer to an email, sometimes it's a video, whatever I think will help you the most. So I do offer that also to my members. You also get a free code for a pattern every month as part of the membership. So whatever new patterns I release or an old pattern when I originally started the membership, I gave you whatever my new pattern was that I was releasing. And then I realized that maybe I'm releasing a shawl, but you're not a shawl person. Or maybe I'm releasing a shawl and you need to knit a baby blanket for a baby shower coming up for a loved one. So I instead made it a code that you can use for any of my patterns. There are almost 70 patterns. So I'm going to share the patterns, then I'm going to share the prizes, and then I will answer as many questions as I can. So the first pattern I want to show you that is coming, should be coming on Friday, is my Color Crush hat. These are really great scrappy projects. You can use DK weight yarn or you can use fingering weight yarn. It's written for both sizes. So this is the Color Crush hat. And I used, this is from the same 2 skeins of yarn, plus I had plenty over extra. I also knit my coaster from the same yarn. So there's an adult small and an average adult, an adult large hat, and it uses slipped stitch knitting. So it's mosaic knitting is in the category of slip stitch knitting, but you're only working with one color of yarn at a time. And this is the fingering weight yarn. I used mini skeins. All of this yarn is from Megs & Co. I love her yarn. I love her colors. So this was mini skeins that she had in the fall, and she has new mini skeins coming out as well. You could also keep this just in 2 colors, just one contrast color and one main color. So I'm excited to finally be releasing that pattern. Many of my Anita says so 2 skeins can make 2 hats if each hat has the main color and the contrast color switched. Yes, in the DK weight for sure. I think also in the fingering, but yeah, these are I had one of each color, and I had a good amount of yarn left over. I don't have the ball handy to show you what's left, but yeah, so it's a fun way to make different hats where they look different. I definitely did not use full mini skeins on this, so you can get, and I should have, you should be able to make at least 2 of the fingering with the main color being the same, and you can use different scraps for the contrast colors on that. So that is the next pattern that is coming out, releasing this week. So if you join the Stitch Society this week, then you will also get a code you can use right away for your first pattern. So you can use that for my pattern that comes out this week. And the other pattern I wanted to share with you all is the one coming out the end of April. And that is, the hat is called the Color Crush hat. This is my treasured skein scarfette. It is going to be my local yarn store day pattern. So it looks like this, and it tapers. It's got some lace, but it is easy lace. It's knit 2 together with a yarn over and slip slip knit with a yarn over. So that's the lace stitch there. And it was fun. It was really fun to knit. It's a quick knit. It's DK weight yarn, and it used about 75 grams of DK weight yarn. So you can definitely get one out of that skein that you've got sitting in your stash that you absolutely love, and you're not sure what to do with it. So this gives you a quick knit. It's interesting. We talked a little bit about whether you love garter stitch or don't love knitting garter stitch. So there's a lot of these little mini scarf patterns, like the Sophie scarf, that have garter stitch, and either you love or don't love garter stitch. And I wanted Not something the same. So I wanted um, a mini project, but something that was enough interest, but not complicated lace. And so that's this will be my April pattern. This pattern is something designed especially for local yarn store day, which is can I model the scarf? I can model the scarf. Let's see. So if I put it on like this, so it's long enough to wrap around. Get my hair out of the way. I don't know how that goes with the sweater, but that's okay. And so it's long enough where you can loosely tie it underneath. If I hide that banner, you'll be able to see better. So you can make it, kind of loose on the neck. You can make it tighter if you want. You can kind of pull the lace apart a little bit so that you can see it better like that. The detail. So yeah, that's the mini scarf. You can also wear it kind of around, not really around your shoulders. It's not exactly wide enough to fully cover your shoulders, but just a mini accessory like that. You can fold it over. You can flip one side back. It would look really pretty with like with a shawl pin or something like that. And I'll put that back on and see. Yeah, so a little bit of modeling. And thank you so much, Francine. And cute scarf, even cotton for the summer. Yeah, I think you could do it with cotton. I think cotton or bamboo. And Deborah says will be a Christmas present too. Yes. So that beautiful skein of yarn that's in your stash. The thing I wanted to also say about it, so it was designed especially for local yarn store day. So a lot of local yarn stores are in the process right now of knitting samples of it for yarn store day. Yarn store day is a way to celebrate those brick and mortar stores that support the fiber community. It's my way of giving back to the community each year. So there will be a list of participating stores on my website, and those stores will have received an email from me with codes to give to customers who come in that weekend, the last weekend in April, and purchase the yarn to knit their own treasured skein scarfette. You'll get a Ravelry code that you can use to redeem. Those codes will be active from the Friday of that weekend through Sunday at just before midnight in New York. Will Knitting Garden in Huntington have it? I don't know. I can reach out to them. I don't know if she's on my list currently. Some people have asked why I can't send codes to every yarn store. I will send codes to any yarn store that signs up to participate, and it doesn't cost them anything to participate. I just don't have the contact information for every yarn store or the permission to include them. So any yarn store that has participated, this is my 7th year doing it. And so I've got a nice long list. Last year was around 318 stores, I think, across the US, Canada, and I think there was a store in South Africa, I believe is where she's located. But generally it's US and Canada that are part of TNNA, the National Needle Arts Association, who runs this event. So generally the stores are US and Canada based, but I will send codes to any store that wants to participate. The last thing before we go is that I wanted to share our prize winners. And I have 2 groups of prize winners. So the first group of prize winners, and these were chosen at random. Niece says I'll probably make it in silk yarn, and Pam would love to see. And so you'll also see on the Ravelry page, yarn stores will be sharing the yarns that they are using. So let me announce the prize winners, and let me make that bigger so you can read. So this is the first group of prize winners, and generally for chosen at random or chosen for kind of going the extra mile, being helpful, supportive, going kind of out of the box and with their creativity and all of that. So our prize winners are Anita, you get a $50 Twice Sheared Sheep gift card. I will send that to you. Cindy, you get a $25 Twice Sheared Sheep gift card. And then I picked 4 winners to get Stitch credit, which is something that you can use for any of my individual workshops or knitting patterns, and you have 6 months to use it. So that goes to Penny Morgan, to Rosalind Curry, to Neith, and to Anne. So you all get $20 from me. Anita and Cindy, you get the Twice Sheared Sheep gift card. That's not sponsored by Twice Sheared Sheep. That's just from me to you. So I appreciate you all. And some of you who've been around for a while may know about my festive fairy, my prize fairy in my Facebook group. So I also wanted to celebrate anyone that has been engaged and active in the Facebook group. So those winners are Francine, Francine Filion, Lisa Voss. I don't have my glasses on and it's a little blurry on my screen. Davina Parker, Rosalind Curry, and Alice Benjamin. So you the top 5 will get a code from me for a pattern of your choice from my collection of patterns. You can use it on my new pattern that's coming out this week or something that I have previously released. So I will be in touch with all of you. If I have your email address, I will email you. Otherwise, I will send you a message on Facebook. So congratulations to all of you. Again, I put the code for the checkout is in the chat, but if you want to read more about the membership and everything that's included, there's so much more that I didn't even get to cover while we were together. So this page has everything that you'd want to know about the membership. That's the one that's been on the screen as well. And that so that half off code, that $17 code, is good through the end of this month, the end of March, and I can't wait to welcome new members into our Stitch Society family. And if you have not finished your project yet, please keep sharing, please keep doing all of those things. And I also wanted to quickly mention that I am teaching in person in April at the Gold Coast Knitting Retreat. I am teaching a lot of the workshops that I talked about here. I will share. It's hosted by Knit Long Island, which is a yarn store that is local to me. And there are still available spots in some of my classes. So you can sign up if you are local. You can attend just for the day, or there's also an option to for lodging. So I am not the only one there. Actually, let me share that with you all. I will just quickly share this tab. So I'll send another email about that information. So it's at the Roosevelt House at LIU Post, which is a college on Long Island. But the hotel is the Roslyn Hotel. And so it's an exclusive fiber-filled weekend, and I'm not the only instructor. Lavanya Petrosella, Zandy Peters, and Lisa K. Ross are the other 3 instructors. There are morning classes, a mid-morning and mid-afternoon snack break. Lunch is included. There's a marketplace available for shopping, then more classes in the afternoon. Free swag and a free pizza party for attendees at the yarn shop on Friday, the day before it starts. And then there are options for a hotel 10 minutes away. The classes, so there's a beginner brioche cowl, I-cord, cast-ons, bind-offs, and everything in between. I'm teaching Oops, Learn to Fix Your Own Knitting Mistakes. There's also Step into Sock Knitting. That's all on Saturday morning. So you pick one class for the morning and one for the afternoon. On Saturday afternoon, I am teaching Beyond the Symbols, The Secrets of Knitting Charts. There's a class also on brioche and garter, Make a Swish Net Scarf, and The Magic of Mosaic. And then on Sunday, there's Advancing Brioche, the Boardwalk Wrap or Lattice Stitch. I'm teaching Conquer Cable Knitting. And there's also a class on knitting on the bias. And on Sunday afternoon is Beginner Brioche 3, to knit a scarf. I'm teaching the Beginner's Guide to Lace Knitting. Sunday is Center Out Knitting also, and Color Play with Color Work. So like I said, so it's myself, Zandy Peters, Lisa K. Ross from Paper Daisy Creations, and Lavanya Patrasella, who is, I think she does a lot of brioche. She has a book on brioche. So that's all I have for today. The new hat pattern is not on Ravelry yet, Debbie. It is the Color Crush hat. So it's not published yet on Ravelry. The Treasured Skein Scarfette, the pattern page is on Ravelry, but the pattern is not available yet. I put the pattern page there to make it easier for yarn shops to share pictures and stuff with their customers. So yes, Zandy Peters is going to be there at the retreat. All right, friends. Let me see if there's any quick questions, but that's the bulk of what I had planned. I know I asked you if you had any questions and then I moved on. Oh, Ken says hi. He's often listening when I'm on these, so he feels like he knows you. Hi, Ken. Let me see. Just going back through the chat. And I thought there were some knitting questions. Tubular, no, we talked about that. I'm either going too far before or too far after. Let me find them. Almost there, I think. A yarn with heart. Kathy says often my bind offs are too tight. So there's different bind offs you can try. You can, with a bind off, you can also try using a larger needle for the bind off. But I do have a workshop. I think, let me find it, that covers different bind offs, and that's also included inside the membership for anyone interested in joining. It's not, here it is. So I'll just share this screen quickly for a question, hide, and share this one. So this workshop is called From Start to Finish, Cast-Ons and Bind-Offs. And so it goes through a lot of different techniques and methods for casting on and also for bind-offs. And let me see if there are any other thank you so much, Debbie. That really means the world. And I'm proud of how far you've come. I know that that brioche ear warmer was a challenge, outdoor fun. It was up early, and you're watching the taped version. So saying hi to anyone who is watching the replay. And oh, Kathy says, finding Jessica has been so helpful as her classes are thorough and her teaching style is one that I can truly learn from. What I learn sticks and I can apply it to future projects. That's so kind of you, Kathy. Thank you. And just looking to see if I missed any knitting questions. I think I got all of them. All right, friends. Anita says, do I have plans for another group knit along? I think maybe we'll do one, something together after the summit. So the summit is mid-May, so maybe starting late May or early June. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure yet. All right. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for all. Thank me for all I do. Thank you for being part of the community. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to get to know you all and to be part of your knitting journey, and for you all to trust me along your knitting journeys. I will send out a link to the replay, and I will send out the details about the bonus and the code just in case you missed it, and make that link easy for you all to find. So I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.